The Operation Restore Legacy is a very significant event in the national calendar. And we know that Operation Restore Legacy creates the Second Republic. That Second Republic is led by none other than His Excellency, Comrade Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa. Now, what is it that is very outstanding about this man? One of the most interesting things is that his very first speech when he's arriving or coming back into the country for the first time after his short-lived exile in South Africa, one of the most startling statements he makes is that he says, let bygones be bygones. In other words, forget about the past. Let us start on a new journey, on a new leaf. And if I remember very well, he was saying, going forward from that moment on, it was going to be production, production, production. The economy, economy, economy. And he says actually, everyone needs to know that it's not going to be business as usual. But what does he do? Instead of taking the route of revenge to those who persecuted him, he's accommodating them. He's inviting them to join him in the reconstruction of the country. You know very well that he opened his space to everyone. One of the major things he says, I'm a listening leader, come forward, let's share ideas so that together we can build a nation. He's taken very radical steps. I referred to that in my previous discussion. And of course, things that come to mind. Remember, the first one was, let's not run away from those who persecuted us yesterday, those who ostracized us, those who chose to impose sanctions on us, those who, by all accounts, are hostile to us. Let's engage them, let's talk to them, let's find common ground so that between us and them, we understand and appreciate each other's position without giving up on our fundamental values. And we know that he's pursued this policy very relentlessly. The results are there for everyone to see. Zimbabwe has generally since that time received, rather has been well received in the capitals of those countries that previously weren't prepared even to talk to us. That has been very remarkable. The second thing, because it recognizes that the only way we can go forward is making sure that we create space for the economy to work. He works on a program that creates opportunities for businesses in this country and outside this country to come into Zimbabwe and feel very comfortable. In other words, you know the mantra, Zimbabwe is open for business. This is the second major decision that's made. Of course, a number of people were very skeptical about that, but we're beginning to see essentially what that means. Now, the investments that have come out of this policy are huge. And of course, while government is investing very hugely in public infrastructure, you have all these people coming into the mining sector, into new areas of industrial activity and so on a massive scale. And we hope, obviously, that if more reforms are carried out, and the president has promised that, we believe that that area will work very well. So the issue of economic transformation, the issue of economic development, the issue of obviously making sure that our society improves is at the core of his message, is at the core of his leadership. He's always talking about modernization so that we can bring Zimbabwe at same par with other nations, and we can address through that process the issues of underdevelopment, the issues of marginalization, the issues of exclusion. I see also that the president is somebody who's been reaching out to different sectors of our community, the church, the young people, the business community, almost just about every sector. The president is reaching out to them and is preaching every day a message of love, a message of unity, a message of development. In other words, he is trying to convince all of us that if we unite as a nation, we can actually create greater opportunities for national development. The president has been very reconciling. I think he's actually tried to bring all these nemesis together. On the political front, some may not take it seriously, but the president created a platform where occasionally he meets with leaders of other political parties so they can exchange notes on what needs to be done to this nation. And I think that is very critical for the development of the nation, because what you're saying is you may have different ideas of how you think this country can be run, but essentially, let's all be patriotic. Let's all understand that we've won Zimbabwe. And of course, yes, if and when a decision must be made through a plebiscite as to who should run the country, everyone is free to put their ideas forward and let the public, the general population of Zimbabwe, elect the persons that are considered to be the best at that moment in time. And I think he's done that very well. The way he's conducted himself and elections since 2018, he promised that that whole election environment should be peaceful, and we know that he's lived up to it. In other words, he's not scared of opposition. He knows he's got very good ideas. He knows he's got history. He knows he's got the people of this country at heart. He knows he's got an assortment of policies that can provide solutions to the challenges that we face. And I think the world is coming to realize that this is a great man who's got a great vision. At regional level, that he's participated in very strategic meetings to bring peace and development in the SADC region initially, and of course in the sub-Saharan area. He's played a very important and pivotal role in making sure that we can start to begin to see Africa working together. The whole idea of bringing Africa together as a trading bloc has been very instrumental in supporting that to a very large extent. The president has continued to focus on principally on the economy and economic development as something that is very, very close to his heart. You can only hope that the people of Zimbabwe take him seriously on his word and begin to get in and participate, because that's the only way we can develop. The policies that have been put in place domestically, the efforts that have been made to support local industry, the efforts that have been made to reform education, the efforts that have been made to revitalize our universities, the efforts that have been made to bring hope to young people, and so on. The effort is made to actually provide our communities with various inputs so that, in fact, at community level, there is food for everyone, and so on. And I think some of the things he has achieved in the shortest possible time, they're more or less legendary. And this is a man who, I believe, if supported by everybody, is likely to leave Zimbabwe a better place than he found it. And for me, that is very, very important to have a leader who is open, who is listening, who responds to the needs of the people, who is continuously creating that space where everyone can obviously find their way in terms of development. And somebody who puts some money, finance, systems, structures to support the programs that is promulgated. The president is now world famous for that. And I think Zimbabweans need to embrace him and support him in order to create conditions where all of us eventually are able to live our lives in a fairly secure, safe environment, in a very growing economic climate. The president is essentially a unifier. The president, he made it very clear that he was not president of a tribe, president of a clique, or president of a region. He is the national president. And it's very important to send a very clear statement that Zimbabwe belongs to all of us as a nation, as different regions that make up this country. Going to Bulawayo clearly demonstrates that the president means that independence must be celebrated by all people throughout the country. So going to Bulawayo is a very important step, I think, and I assume that the celebrations will probably go to different regions of the country in order, to a very large extent, to bring the government closer to the people and closer to the various programs of government. As you very correctly say, the issue of devolution and decentralization is very important because you're bringing the government much closer to where it happens. You're giving people the opportunity to decide their own fate, to decide their own progress, to use resources that they're given by government to maximally improve their own situation and grow their own economy, strengthen their communities at local level, and naturally give each individual a right to find their space in what's going on in the country. So yes, the only way you can unite a country is to de-emphasize the tribal tags, the regional tags, because that's not good for national development. Once people concentrate on those peripheral issues, development suffers. And I think the president is on course in that regard, and he's put in place, as I've said, the policies that support his vision. And I think this will begin to reap massive benefits going forward. And those are very important aspects that I can think of in relation to the president and as leader of the Second Republic. I'm sure that very generally summarizes some of the great things that are associated with our president.